It's nice that we can record it. So welcome, everyone. I'm excited. I get excited at the beginning of the month when the new promos come out, and especially this time of year, it seems like there's a lot of exciting things that are going on with Young Living and like in the groups and everything. So I just wanted to do a really quick review or overcap of the promo this month. If you guys haven't seen it, they're doing the 100 PV ER tier again, which I really like. So anybody on ER that spends 100 PV gets a 5 milliliter peppermint vitality oil. And then at 190, you also, if you're on Essential Rewards, which in case you guys haven't seen, Young Living is really encouraging Essential Rewards, and I'm really trying to just educate people. I think some people like get a little nervous when they hear monthly order. They kind of get worried, like, oh, I'm not going to fit that into my budget. But it's really, we're helping people understand how they can replace what they're already buying with non-toxic options, and explaining to them how it's only 50 PV a month, and they can change. You know, they don't have to have a set order. They can order different things every month and just all the things they're getting for free. When people are placing quick orders, it makes me nervous because I'm like, oh, you could be getting up to 25% back, and they're sending you gifts at 3, 6, and 9 months and every year on your anniversary. And then you get to place orders with all of your free points. And so I just want to make sure people realize, I used to be a little more hesitant about sharing about Essential Rewards, and then I had a member who I didn't tell because I was hesitant, and she placed an 1,000 PV order and missed out on a whole bunch of ER points, and like signed up for ER the next day, and I felt really, really bad. So I at least want to make sure that all of my members are educated, and then they can make the best decision for them. If they're not ordering, then, you know, it doesn't make sense. But if people are placing quick orders, make sure you let them know there's a better way. Then with 190 PV, you've got the 5 milliliter peppermint vitality, a 5 milliliter Christmas Spirit, which is exciting. That's one of my favorite blends, especially this time of year. I put it in the diffuser a lot. And the thing that's really great about it is it has cinnamon bark and orange in it, which are both really, really good for immune support. And so not only do you get your Christmas Spirit, it smells like Christmas, but you're also getting the immune boost that your body really needs this time of year. And then also at 190 PV, you get 20 Essential Rewards points. And this is for only people that are on ER. So it makes a big difference at 190 PV. If you're on ER, you get the 20 ER points and the 5 milliliter peppermint. At 250, you get all of that plus a 15 milliliter frankincense, which has a wholesale price of $73.50. So retail value is like almost $100, which is awesome. And then at 300 PV, you get all of that plus a 5 milliliter myrrh and sacred frankincense. So at 300 PV, your retail value is over $233. And frankincense and sacred frankincense and myrrh and Christmas Spirit and peppermint, all of those are just perfect for this time of year. So I'm excited about all that, but what I'm even more excited about is the enrollment promotion that's going on this month. So I want to go through that and make sure you guys are clear about that too, and give some ideas on how you can get all this fun stuff for free. So first of all, any member that signs up with a premium starter kit in November or December will get a 5 milliliter Christmas Spirit with their order. So last month it was oregano, this month it's Christmas Spirit, which I love. It's just such a good blend. So it's fitting. Now, for us, okay, that's for all new members, okay? For us, they're putting out a huge carrot to help other people enroll. So if you sign up 5 new members in November, okay, so 5 new members in November, you get a 5 milliliter red shot oil, which is a blend that they used to put in the Ningxia Red gift sets, and it's got, like, to me it tastes like a Red Hot, you know, like those Christmas candies, like the super hot pepperminty candies. That's to me what it tastes like, pepperminty. So 5 milliliter red shot and a 15 milliliter sacred frankincense. Okay, that's like $100 wholesale. Sacred frankincense is amazing. So 5 people between now and the end of November. Okay, so that one is November only. Then if between November and December combined, if you enroll 10 people, you get 5 milliliter rose, which is like over $200. If you enroll 20 people, you get the Rainstone diffuser, which is my favorite diffuser because it goes for 8 hours straight. You can pick 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 8 hours. And I just love it. And it's black and it matches everything. And it just looks sharp. And then 25 members receive a Young Living iPad. So that's like a $600 value. And then the top 2 people that have the most enrollments get an all expenses paid trip to Ecuador to the farm there with Gary Young. It's over a $5,000 value. So sky's the limit. I just want to talk about a couple things that I'm going to do and that I would encourage you to do if you're looking to get these promotions. So this morning, well, there's 2 things really. The 2 things that lead to enrollments are, hold on, I just got a message that someone's trying to join. Just give me a minute. Let's see. It won't open in my browser. Okay. Okay, hopefully that'll work. Okay, so the 2 things that you can do to get enrollments, okay, they're just, I can always see a direct correlation between when I do these things and how my month goes. So number 1 is classes or one-on-ones, however you are most comfortable sharing. And I would encourage you to look at your calendar now and see when you could get an in-person intro class on the calendar, when you can get a one-on-one class on the calendar, or if you have people in your downline, if you have people on your team, contact them and see if they're interested in getting a class on their calendar and help them get their 15 milliliter sacred frankincense. Sometimes that is a good way to get, excitement going and stuff too. But for yourself personally, I would recommend doing an online intro and an in-person intro. And then I have people that have told me the last 26 classes I've hosted that it doesn't work, but they really want to come. But it doesn't work, but they really want to come. And so those people I've contacted and say, can we get together for coffee? Can we just meet one-on-one? Do you want to bring your kids over for a play date or whatever works, wherever their stage of life is. Meet for coffee, meet for hot chocolate, meet in the grocery store parking lot on their way through, whatever works for them. They want to smell the oils. They want to see the kit. They want a brochure, so that they can kind of get that intro that they would get at a class in a time and a place that works for them. So classes and one-on-ones are going to be really big for new enrollments. I keep a long-standing list, like a new prospect list, people that have asked for samples, people that have told me they're interested in oils, people that have come to an intro class and said now it's just not the right time financially, or whatever the situation is. I keep a list of those people in my notebook, and at times like this, I'll just give them a call or send them a message or send them a text and say, hey, I just want you to know that Free Christmas Spirit this month, blah, blah, blah. It might, depending on where you're at, what you're trying to do with the business, how many enrollments you're trying to get, which of the incentives your goal is, whatever, you might think about offering an additional incentive. Sometimes I'll offer like a little gift bag with some roller bottles or a spray bottle or a reference book, or, maybe it's $20 cash back so they can go get the reference book they want or whatever. Sometimes I'll do that just to give people that little extra push to make the decision. And so that's totally up to you. It just depends, what you're trying to do. But I found sometimes that it helps. The Christmas Spirit will be a big help for this month. My personal goal is to do an online intro, a personal intro, and then get 10 one-on-ones scheduled for November. This morning I was all excited. These promos came out, and I literally sent out 50 private messages and like 25 text messages to people that were on my list that I knew were kind of on the fence, that kind of wanted it for Christmas or whatever, to let them know that this was going on. So classes is your first one. And the second most important thing is following up. And so that's kind of what I said. You know, when you have your prospect list, and if you don't have a prospect list, there's a really good prospect memory jogger that is in the Oily Team files that you can print out, and it really like gets your brain turning on who might be interested or who might be able to really benefit from the oils. The other thing that I did to help get my list going was I just went through the contact list in my phone. And it like sparked so many people, because it wasn't just the people in my phone, but then like I would see somebody and I'd be like, oh yeah, I met them at the parent night for Sophie's class, and then I also met this person, and this person, and it sparked, you know, a few more people. Or this person is somebody I used to work with, and oh, this, and this other coworker might be a good option. So that was a really good exercise for me to do too. And then you have your list of people that you can follow up with, let them know there's a sale, and let them know the free Christmas spirit with the kit. You can also let them know, I mean, give them the option that if they want to order an oil or two this month, you could add it to your order and help you, you know, get the promo oils. I mean, the free 15 ml frankincense, like I will probably do that twice because we go through so much frankincense in our house. I think I add it to about every diffuser blend. It's just one of my favorites. So there's a lot of different ways you can follow up. And it really, different people respond to different things. You can kind of try different ideas and see what you think. I have people that love email. That's a hard one. You know, emails are easy to ignore. I really like texting and Facebook Messenger. And then there's some people that I just pick up the phone and call, and they like that. So there's a lot of options. Always, I mean, I'll keep brochures and business cards and samples and stuff in my purse, because sometimes I'll run into somebody that, hey, you know, so-and-so told me that your daughter uses oils for blah, 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 and then I can just pull out the samples and let them know. And it has, you know, my sign-up link right on there, so they can easily go home and do it. But if somebody says they're going to go home and sign up, my experience has been that you need to remind them a couple times, because you know how life is. You get home and then there's 45 other things that demand your attention and can fall off your radar. So classes and following up. And then I just wanted to talk about, well, first of all, does anybody have any questions about the November promo, the November enrollment incentive that's going on, classes, following up, anything like that I've already talked about? Okay. If you do, just pipe up. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was Anna White's online class. She put together a new online class program, and what it does is take all the guesswork out of online classes. A couple big changes. One thing is she messages everybody that she wants to invite and says, hey, I'm planning to host a class. Are you interested in coming? And then you only invite them to the class once they've responded and said, yes, I want to come. And that really helps people to feel engaged and to feel like they got a personal invitation and make them feel special, and it really increases the chances of them showing up for the class. And then the other big thing is every post, people get put into a raffle if they comment. Okay, so it really helps with class engagement and class participation, and gets people involved and commenting, and it really makes the class much more interactive, because online classes are much harder to get people engaged than in person. You know, when you're all sitting around the kitchen table, or when you're all, you know, sitting in the living room, passing the oils around and smelling them, everyone's excited and they're smelling the oils and they're into it, and the oils are selling themselves. When you're on the computer, you have a little bit more of a challenge to get people engaged and excited and really feeling and understanding what you're sharing with them. So anytime someone comments on a post, their name goes into a drawing for a raffle, and I usually do like a 5 milliliter Vitality oil for the raffle drawing. And that really helps with engagement. And then after that, There's posts about how to get started with their starter kit. There's posts about hosting a class. There's posts about the business opportunity. And all the, like, she has a, there's a document in the files that literally I copy and paste the verbiage for those posts into the class. And so she went through the time to put all these posts together, and there's new graphics in there and everything. So the work is all done for you, and all you have to do is make those posts. And then basically the class is just being there. You respond to everyone's comments, you like all the posts, and you really keep the interaction going. So if you haven't done one of those classes, honestly, like when it first came out, I was just like, when I started hearing about it, I was feeling overloaded, and I'm like, okay, this is just one more thing. I don't have time to deal with this right now. And so I put off having one because I had done them a certain way in the past, and like just the thought of starting over sounded stressful. And Kim, our upline, messaged me, and she's like, how about if I do the first one for you? It was just a time I was super overwhelmed, and it felt like a big deal. And I'm like, sure. So she actually did my first online class for me. Okay, I've been doing the business for 2 years, and she like held my hand to help me learn this new process. But it was what I needed because life was too crazy. So I understand what that's like. And so if you are interested in doing one of the online classes and you want me to do it, the first one for you, I'd be glad to. I've got all the verbiage down. I've got all the graphics on my computer. I'd be glad to do it for you. The only thing that I had to do when she did it for me, and the only thing that I would ask of you, is that you invite your people. You know, you message the people, ask them if they want to come, you invite them, and then, you know, just be there that night. And just so you can see and experience how that class system works and see the interaction, and, you know, any commenting that you can do is going to help. And it really went well. I was impressed. I was impressed by just how much more responsive the class was, and how much more participation I got, and how many more people I got to the class just by making it more personable and really making an effort to reach out and get to know those people. So that was really good. So let me know if anybody wants to do an online class. I'd be glad to do that. And if you're local and you want to do a live class and you want me to come help teach, I'll do that. And if you're not local, maybe we can find someone, or you can FaceTime me in or something. We can figure something out. So let me know how I can help with that. Again, I just think if you want to, the other thing, if you're just looking for growth this month, okay, I know the, you know, personal enrollments for the free rose and the diffuser and all those things are amazing. But if you're looking for team growth and people that might be interested in doing the business under you, I have people on my list that have said they might want to host a class sometime in the future. Now's not a good time. They want to host a class. So I'm going to message those people, or even people that I think would be interested in hosting or might make a good host, or, you know, what does it hurt to ask? You know, I've had people tell me no before. Might get a few more this month too. So just tell them, hey, I just wanted to let you know, if you host a class in November and you have 5 people that buy a premium starter kit at your class, you're going to get, on top of all the incentives that Young Living has and the bonuses and, you know, the $50 that you get for each kit, you're going to get a 15 milliliter sacred frankincense and the 5 milliliter red shot, you know, so that could be an extra incentive for hosting a class in November. I just want to say, like, I'm messaging those people today because November is kind of like a 3-week month. Like, everybody goes MIA, including myself, the week of Thanksgiving. Like, it's just a lot going on. My kids have school off the entire week of Thanksgiving. People are either traveling or cooking or hosting or whatever, and it's just a really busy week. So we really have to capitalize on the first 3 weeks of the month when people are still available. But then the weekend after Thanksgiving and the few days after Thanksgiving can be really, really, really good times as well. People are starting to really think about Christmas shopping, and so people are ready to, like, you know, get going on all of that. So the other thing you can think about is, last year I did a Black Friday sale, So I offered a special incentive just, on my page and for my people for Black Friday. So we can be brainstorming. That's maybe something we can talk about next week on our Zoom, ideas on what to do for that. And it's not, you don't have to. I can about guarantee Young Living will do something for Black Friday, some kind of incentive or sale or something. So, but sometimes it's just fun to do whatever. Or maybe I didn't do Black Friday. I'm just thinking through this. I did Cyber Monday. So the Monday after Black Friday is all the online stuff. So I did a premium starter kit, and then I don't know, I think it was mostly for new members, but anything. If that's something you want to do to kind of spark your growth at the end of the month, that's something to consider too. So that's pretty much all I had written down that I wanted to talk about today. Hopefully there'll be a few people that can watch the replay. And if there's anything I can do to help you do classes online, in person, if you have questions about following up or how to follow up or what to do or incentives that you can do for personally enrolled, or how to reach out to people to do classes or whatever, let me know. And I think I was actually going to do today, I was going to do how to teach an intro class, or what I take for an intro class. So maybe I'll just go through that now. We have time since there wasn't a lot of questions. Or we could do it a whole Zoom next week. But maybe I'll just go through briefly on what I do for an intro class so that you can start thinking, okay? So my motto, so I learned the hard way on this, and I'm going to talk about live intro classes right now. My motto, and I've not always done it this way, but I found it goes much, much better when I stick to this, is simplicity, okay? That's not necessarily sometimes that's hard for me, simplicity, and I sometimes make things too hard, harder than they need to be. So I've really tried to keep things simple. So all I take to a live intro class is the starter kit, okay? Because you have everything you need in there. Okay, 11 oils, that is more than enough to overwhelm people. Plus you have the Ningxia packs. Okay, so if you get through the 11 oils, the diffuser, and the Ningxia packs, that's a lot of ground to cover. And if you have more than that, people they glaze over. It's too much. So I take the starter kit, and then I take some handouts. So number 2 is some handouts. And what I take is just something a kit overview. So I have one in my files of my group that just goes through the kit and maybe lists 2 or 3 things it can be used for. And there's a little picture of the starter kit at the top. And mine has my information on it. You're welcome to take sticker labels, like address labels, and put your own information on it and cover mine. I'm totally fine with that. What's mine is yours. So, so I just give everyone a kit overview sheet, and I give everybody a raffle form. I like to tell people that I'm giving away door prizes, and that helps to get people there. Sometimes I'll say, bring a friend and get a gift, and so when I do bring a friend and get a gift, I either have a Thieves Cleaner sample or just a diffuser clothespin with a sample clipped to it. So that's optional. I do that maybe 1 in every 10 I don't do that every time. So the 2 handouts I give them is the kit overview sheet and the raffle sheet. And then you need to have the monthly promos. So I will just print out 1 copy of the monthly promo so that I can just let people know at the end. At the end, we talk about essential, this is all in the class notes, which is number 3 on the list. At the end, when you talk about essential rewards and the promo and getting started, you can explain to them the benefits of adding to their order if they're interested this month. Number 3 is your class notes. And don't make this complicated. Don't feel like they need to be memorized. Don't feel like they need to be fancy. I have the copy that's in my files, and I print it out, and I hold it, and I make sure to highlight just the stuff I want to make sure to say, and I just read it. And like people don't even know I'm reading them because I'm passing the oils around and they're too excited to smell lavender or stress away that they like don't even realize that I'm just standing up there reading a script. Plus, if somebody is interested in an opportunity to work from home or, you know, to share oils, you want to make sure that they see that it's easy. It doesn't need to be extravagant. It doesn't need to be like some formal presentation. It can just be really simple. Okay, then number 4, I take sign-up forms. Now, you have 2 options here. You can take like, you know, a laptop or an iPad or, you know, and just have people sign up themselves right there. Or you can take sign-up forms. The sign-up forms are, again, in the file section. You can just print them off and take them. And then you can take those home and sign them up later. So when I first started, I always just took my iPad and laptop and let people sign themselves up. Okay, I really liked that because then people knew how to sign up themselves, and so then they would know how to sign up a friend. But then about a year after I started, maybe it wasn't even a year, I taught a class that had almost 30 people there and like 10 signups. So like once I realized how many people were coming, I decided to take the forms. And if we would have had people sign up themselves, we would have like still been going at like 2 in the morning. So you just kind of gauge, you know, if you have a class that has 5 people and you have an iPad and a tablet or whatever, people can sign themselves up and then you don't have to worry about it later. But some people, usually I take both because usually people have a preference. So some people don't want to write their social security number and their address and their credit card information all on the same sheet of paper and give it to me, Molly Schambach, that they've never met in their life, so that I can go home and sign them up for a Young Living account. Some people would just rather do it themselves, which is fine. You just need to make sure that the host or whoever the enroller and sponsor numbers get typed in. So I usually do that field, get them to the next page so that they're ready to enter their information, and then that's great. And then I'm there if they have questions or whatever. But then you have people who go to bed at 8:30 and the class started at 7 and it's 8:45 and they're like, just take my paper and sign me up tomorrow, like I gotta go. And so I always have a mix of people and how they prefer to do it, and people really like to have the option. So, you know, whether it's sign-up forms or some kind of tablet or laptop so that people can sign up. So that's number 4. There's only one more. So number 5, I take an item to raffle, and this can be simple. It can be a bath salt you made. It can be a room spray you made. It does not have to be like expensive. It doesn't need to be fancy. Just something simple. You know, a door prize is always fun. So an item to raffle off, and then optional, you can take like a couple gift bags. Like the first people to fill out their form will get this little gift bag to get you started, and I'll put like 2 roller bottles and a dropper bottle, or, you know, a couple capsules and a roller bottle, or just something. And maybe I'll print out a couple sheets of, you know, diffuser recipes or roller bottle recipes or whatever to go in it, so that when they go home, they can just like start thinking about what they want to make right away as soon as they get their kit. And people really seem to like that. But that's totally optional. You do not have to do that. So those are the 5 things, okay? And my setup on the table is very simple. I just put the kit out on the table. I give people their 2 handouts. And then I just tell people to fill out their raffle forms while people are coming in and getting settled. And people love free stuff and love raffle forms, so that always, like, you know, lightens the mood and gets everybody comfortable. Then I go through and I read my notes. And when I'm talking about each oil, I pass it around and I let everyone smell the oil. And I really, you know, you can read directly from the notes. If you want to share things that you use each oil for, that's fine, but I would limit it to 1 or 2. Otherwise, the class just gets way too long. If you have other people in the class that have used oils before, ask for their input. You know, if they like love lavender, then when you get to lavender, say, and, you know, my friend so-and-so is going to share about lavender, because sometimes it's nice to hear from other people. You know, if you're teaching a class for somebody in your downline, say, you know, so-and-so, you know, let them share about a couple oils that they really like if they want to. Because it's really nice to hear from other people than just, you know, the person teaching the class. And then at the end, it takes a little bit of practice to close the class. At first I was like, well, you know, if you want to, there's this starter kit. But instead I like to close by saying, you know, this is how the starter kit changed the health and wellness of my family. I feel empowered. I feel like I have natural options. It saved me countless trips to the doctor. It has paid for itself over and over again. Like, this is the way to get started. And then I hand everyone an enrollment form and say, go ahead and get started filling this out if you're ready to get a kit while I do the raffle drawing. Okay, so while people are thinking about it, texting their husband to get his input, you know, whatever, filling out their form because they're super excited, I'm doing the raffle and giving away that stuff. And then after the raffle, I help people, you know, make sure they have their forms filled out or help them get started on the tablet. And so we just try to keep it simple. I encourage you to keep the class portion to 45 minutes, an hour at the very most. 45 minutes is usually about what it takes for mine, especially if you're passing them around and there's questions or whatever. That's about what it is. And then there's time afterwards if people have questions or need help signing up or whatever. And don't be intimidated. One of my biggest fears at the beginning was people would, like, what if people ask me questions and I have no idea? And it's happened lots of times. And I just say, you know what, if you'll just write that question on the back of your raffle form and I can get back to you. And people are great with that. So it's just good to, like, you know, you don't have to come across as an expert because, like, I'm still learning and learning and learning and learning. I find new things that I can do all the time. And so that's a perfectly acceptable answer. And then I'll just, you know, that makes for an awesome follow-up, actually. You know, like the next day, if you just write that on your raffle form and I'll get back to you. And the next day, or, you know, within 24 to 48 hours for sure, message them or text them or call them and say, hey, you know, I found that peppermint is actually awesome for headaches or pain, occasional pain, that you were asking about. And so, you know, that's in the starter kit and that could be a really good option or whatever it is, you know. So that works out really well. And then at the end of the class, when I'm talking about essential rewards and, you know, the benefits that coming along with being a member, I also make sure to let people know that they can host a class and get their oils for free. So that's a really key thing. As you talk about growth, like, that's really how I grew my business really fast to silver. Was every time I hosted a class, my goal was to book at least 1 or 2 classes from that class. And so if I booked a class every time I taught a class, then your momentum is always going and you're always growing and you're always finding new people because you've always got classes scheduled. And that's really the key. The months that I had a lot of classes and everybody has different goals and paces that they're looking to go, but I went from executive to silver in 3 months. And I was teaching 2 classes a week on average. Sometimes less, sometimes more, but I was growing really, really fast. So it just depends on what your goals are. You know, I think 1 class a week is a good goal if you're looking to grow continually. But, you know, everybody has different goals and different speeds and different amounts of times that they're willing to commit. And so that's something you have to look at and see what makes sense for you. Everybody's different, and that's good. So I have like 4 more minutes. So I'm done. If anybody has anything they want to say, and otherwise I hope lots of you catch the replay.
Hi, Molly. One thing that I think would be helpful if you could maybe work this into a future call would be like the path through the websites to get to all of the forms and the files, and where do you click and how do you go and how do I get there to get to some of that reference material.
Yep, that's good.
for those of us that are technologically challenged.
Well, it's
Sometimes
not so much that as there's a lot of groups and a lot of files, and where
there's
do
a
you
lot of
find
stuff
it?
out there. So how do we get to the stuff that's really useful?
That's great. I'll write
And
that down.
the other thing that, if you don't know, maybe you can look into it. I know my sister has some friends who were in oils before, like multiple years ago, 2 or 3 years. And what happens with that if they were already a Young Living distributor, but they haven't bought in ages and are totally, completely inactive? And
Yeah.
if we could get them wanting to get going again, how do we do that?
That's a great question, and actually that's happening a lot now. So if they have not placed an order for 12 months,
Okay.
their account is officially inactive.
Okay.
So all they have to do is call Young Living, and if they have your sister's member number or whoever, if it's your
Okay.
sister, she would just say, call Young Living, here's my member number, tell them you would like to reactivate your account. And they will place, Young Living will place that member under your sister.
Okay.
And then all they have to do is place a 50 PV order, and their account is good to go.
It's good again. Okay.
Right. So it does require calling. And the person, like a lot of times, most of these people have no idea what their member number even is, let alone their username and password and PIN.
Right.
So that's why the person has to call, because they'll ask 3 or 4 questions to verify, to look up their account, verify it's them. Usually they have to give like the last 4 or 5 of their social or something.
Okay.
They'll look them up, and then Young Living can give them their member number, their username, their password, their PIN. They can give them all that information.
Right.
And so all they need to call is who they want to be reactivated under. That person's name.
Okay.
That's all they need.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That helps. Thanks.
It's a pretty simple process. I've had a few people do it, so I know, like, I've done it. It's been pretty simple. So, but if you have any issues, let me know.
All right.
Good one.
Good.
Thank you, Ellen. Good suggestions. Yeah. Thanks for coming, and enjoy your last couple days in Ohio.
Yeah, I will. The weather's beautiful, so.
Oh my, it's lovely here too.
Yeah. The hardest thing is my entire family is hoping that the Cubs will win the World Series, because we started in Chicago, but I've lived here too long, and my kids, we're all like, oh, if we care, it would be nice if the Indians could do it.
Funny. I know, it's the big hype around here.
Yeah, it sure is. All right.
Very good. Good to see you.
Yep.
Good day.
Bye.